Hey, Susan Thetford here. Today we're talking about Southern customs. If you're thinking of moving to Nashville, if you're thinking of moving to Tennessee, south of the Mason, east of the Mississippi, there are things that you might not know about Tennessee and you need to know about it if you want to mix in well here, either as a tourist or as someone who is living here. Tell me, take a listen, let me know if you know of all these things. This is by popular demand. I have been asked about Southern customs, and some people have told me some things they thought was very strange. I don't. I've lived here all my life. If you're new to me, this is Susan Thetford. I'm a realtor with eXp Real Estate. I'm actually on vacation now in Hawaii, so I'm going to show you some different scenes about Nashville. But I thought, I've been asked this 2 times now in the last month. Tell us about Southern customs and traditions that we might not know about in other places. So here we go. Number one, this is the first thing I thought of when people ask me, what is it different about Tennessee? What is the customs that are different? This is something that we do, and I find that most people don't really do it, and it's not ever going to go away, I hope. We pull over for funerals. When you're driving either direction and you see a funeral procession going by, and you're going to know that because there's a police car, there's the front limousines, and then people behind it with all their street light or their car lights are on. We stop. We don't drive. We pull over out of recognition and respect for the family who has had a loss. So either side of the road, we pull over. I'm finding more and more people just going on by and not paying any attention to that. That is a Southern custom that I hope never changes. Second thing related to that is whenever there's a police car or a fire engine maybe coming out from anywhere, when you hear it, pull over. We have no idea. You often hear it prior to seeing it, and you don't want to cause more accidents because there's already something going wrong. And so pull over. Either way, whichever direction it's coming from, move over, get out of the way. You're not going to get to where you're going much different. That's a custom I hope never, ever changes. Here's another custom. Men take off their hats when they go inside. And this one is falling by the wayside, I'm sorry to say. Since so many kids wear caps and wear caps and baseball caps, which is the typical thing here. We don't wear cowboy hats. You're a tourist if you're wearing a cowboy hat. Women, we don't wear cowboy boots either unless we're riding and you happen to be riding Western, not English. So if you want to stick out like a tourist, put on a cowboy hat, wear your cowboy boots, and if you really want to stick out, wear your Daisy Dukes. Please don't. But we do, and it's a Southern custom out of courtesy for the people you're around, is take off hats when we're inside. So that is really falling by the wayside. I think it's because some of us moms forgot to teach our boys if they grew up here, and those of us who've come from other places don't know to do it, but do it, and you're going to be so far ahead of other people in politeness that you won't believe what brownie points that gives you. To go along with that, men, hold the doors open. But all of us hold the door open, women and men. Someone's coming in the door, they got their hands full. Make it easy for them to get in the door. Hold the door open, step aside. If you're going in one way and somebody's coming out the other and you got the narrow side, give them space. We hold doors, we say hello, we look people in the eye, are not oblivious to what's going on around you, not because it's a danger, it's because it's a common courtesy that is not so common anymore. So if you want your children to be really highly thought of and you want people to come compliment you about how your children behave in a restaurant, they're speaking nicely, they're not running around throwing food, boys have their hats off, nobody eats with their elbows on the table, basic common courtesy, napkins in the lap. What happened to manners? Those are things we do not want to lose as in Southern charm, and it's just out of respect for other people. Next, let me give you some terms that are encompassing terms that you got to know. If you order tea, but you don't want it sweetened, you better mention to the restaurant owner or whoever's taking your order, you do not want sweet tea. Tea in the South is sweet tea. It might have a little orange juice, which is really, really good. It certainly has sugar. So if you don't want sweetened tea, you better say you want unsweetened tea, or you're likely to get sweet tea. Another term that's all-encompassing is if you want a Coke or anything that's fizzy, that's carbonated, we call it Coke. I want a Coke. What kind of Coke do you want? Pepsi, ginger ale, whatever you want. But a Coke basically is a generic term for anything carbonated. You need a tissue. Some of you from other places call a tissue something to blow your nose on. We all call them Kleenex. It doesn't have to be a Kleenex, but we call them Kleenexes. So I need a Kleenex, any kind of tissue. You need a Coke. It might be Dr. Pepper, it might be Diet Coke, it might be, I don't know, the stuff that people drink. Everything's a Coke.
What do you call this vine? Kudzu? We gotta put some of this in our yard. Why does this gas station have tanning beds, fireworks, fishing bait, cat head biscuits? Is that legal? The light's green, let's go! What's that sound? Are we under attack? This is Second Baptist. How many churches can you have in one town? The grocery store said they can't sell liquor, but they can sell beer, but they can't sell that to us until Monday.
Tea, it's sweet tea, unless you tell us it's not sweet tea. Confused yet? Let's talk about a few more quick terms for terminology. Pants, you wear pants, you don't wear slacks. That Coke is that carbonated drink of some sort. A grocery cart is a buggy. We call them buggies, and we put them back into the corral. This one is a little funny now, but when I was growing up, it was not the slightest bit funny. We call the carpool, that most places around the country call that a carpool. When I was growing up, we called it a hookup. Now, unfortunately, a whole lot of words we can no longer use because they got funky meanings from all around the country. But we still call that. If you're from the South, you're gonna say that you have with two other moms or two other dads who pick up children at school and take them back home. We call that a hookup. We don't call that a carpool. If you say you're from the South and you call it a carpool, we're gonna know immediately you're a wannabe Southerner, you're about to be maybe a Southerner after time, but you're not quite there yet. Okay, so let's get to some things that you might not know about. Saturdays are football days in the South, no matter what. Saturday is football. It's college football. College football is actually a bigger thing here. We have the biggest rivalries that are so much fun. Ole Miss, UT, Auburn, Alabama, Florida. We have football rivalries that last for 20, 30, 40 years. It's a lot of fun. Saturday football, college football is the biggest thing ever. And I will say it's bigger by far than pro football as far as I'm concerned. Those who went to their school, their university, no matter how bad they're doing this year, we're sure it's going to be the best year ever. And college football is the thing. Next, school will be closed if there's snow. Maybe, probably, if there's a projection of snow, even if it's a teeny tiny little bit of snow. Now, we have many rural areas, and as you've seen some of the video of the Middle Tennessee area especially, we've got lots of hills, and you've got a public school bus and they're running up and down those hills, and often it's full of trees, which means the ice doesn't melt. We really have more of an issue with ice than with snow, but in any case, you're going to know about it way in advance, and school's going to be canceled even if there's a little bit or not at all snow. If there's the danger of snow, those kids are getting a snow day. This is very much a Southern thing, especially for the women. You own at least one thing that's monogrammed. Your children have smocked pretty dresses, Sunday dresses, that's monogrammed. The napkin rings are monogrammed. If you're from the South, you've inherited many monogrammed things from your mom and beautiful pieces. If that's the type of thing you like, go to antique stores. You can find some of the biggest things you can find that people really don't want because they don't want to bother with linens, but monogrammed anything. The best cooks with skillets that are iron skillets. Now, first of all, it's great for your pecs, it's great for working out, but the best food is cooked on skillets, and the older the better, the more seasoned the better, and you never, ever, ever, ever scald the pans on a seasoned skillet. You want decades old. You clean it. You can clean it with paper towel. You re-oil it. You reheat it. You got it clean, but you're never going to scrub it, and you don't want to dry out. The oils that are in the seep into the iron is what makes food so good and Southern food so good. So get that iron skillet. Go to a used antique store. You can find those old skillets. You find some beautiful hand embroidered little dresses and tea towels, and everyone will think you're a Southerner from decades back. You probably know this one. Everything is fried. Now, there's a lot of foods that I really don't like, and the only way I like it is fried. Might be okra, which I still don't like actually. But fried chicken, anything that can be fried is fried. It's delicious. But you have heard that we now are very culinary savvy, and especially in Nashville, are known for many of our five-star restaurants. So the Southern tradition is fried. The Southern tradition is also lots of grease, bacon grease. Everything goes better with bacon. We all know that. Everything goes better with bacon. And that's the way a lot of the good Southern foods were cooked. Fried, bacon, beautiful. But you've got other options. I know you've always heard about this too. Bless your heart. Well, that's not really a compliment. No, it's not meant to be a real massive slam, the way people like to call it too. It just means it's a polite way for Southerners to say, yeah, you're wrong. Bless your heart. You're wrong. But it's not fighting words. A Southern custom that we all know about is that the weather can change drastically in a very short period of time. Now, by that I mean 12 to 24 hours. You know it, but especially when you're changing the seasons, you may have a really nice warm day one day and the next be a 20 to 30 degrees difference. The weather does change frequently, but of course you've got 24/7 weather forecasting. You also may know that we do have tornado sirens. If you hear a siren going off and you go, what's going on? Is it an air raid? It's probably a tornado siren alerting you to the fact that there's possibility of bad weather. We've got that throughout all of the parks around Middle Tennessee, and they go off regularly as far as practice goes, and you'll get accustomed to the sound. But it's not air raid sirens, it is possible weather tornadic sirens. Next, y'all. A simple word, 2 words actually. We shorten a lot of words. Y'all. You guys, never gonna be used. You'll stick out like a sore thumb if you say, hey you guys, y'all. Hey y'all, come on over. Looking forward to seeing y'all. We shorten a lot of our words. Tennessee is Tennessee. Mississippi, Mississippi. It's not Mississippi. A lot of Southern words. Louisiana, often called Louisiana. So a lot of words are shortened, but y'all, everybody uses in the South. Hey, if you're finding some value here, I suggest you go ahead and subscribe to the show. Typically, every single week, I'll take you to new places, maybe suburbs, the best neighborhoods of Nashville, show you different price point of homes, all the things, maybe Brentwood versus Franklin, best places to live, all the things you need to know if you're considering a move to Nashville. And so I suggest you go ahead and tap that bell, subscribe to the show so that every single week you'll be alerted when we drop a new video. I happen to be out of town this week. Been asked many times, give me some ideas of customs and things we need to know if we're new to the area. So you've got it. Whatever you want to know about, let me know here in the comments and I will do a show just for you. Oh my gosh, I forgot about the most important ones. I can't believe I did, but it's just such a natural to me. As old as I am, I still call everyone yes ma'am, yes sir. Please, please teach your children to be polite. Yes ma'am, yes sir. Hold the doors open for people. Hold the door or the chair for an elderly person. If an elderly person or someone who is infirmed or needs some help doesn't have a seat, you stand up and you give them your seat. Those are Southern customs, Southern charms that please let's never, never stop. Another, whenever a new neighbor comes in, we take them brownies, cookies, anything to say hello, welcome to the neighborhood, anything I can do to help you, because everybody has questions about when they move to a new neighborhood of, you name it. Where's the best farmer's market? Where's the closest grocery? Everybody has questions. When a new neighbor moves in, Expect people to come knocking on your door and say, hello, I'm your neighbor. Tell me about you and your family. Looking forward to meeting y'all. Back to y'all. Another thing, funerals, you take food. When someone's hurt, when someone's having surgery, when anything has happened that is dramatic in a family, we take food, you call, ask how you can help. When you're in a school, they end up doing school lunches for somebody, maybe a family that needs help. These are the things that you do. You take care of your neighbors. Those are Southern traditions. That's the biggest part about the South that I think is so special. We never, ever need to change that. We need to hold on to that in a big way. Now, if that's not for you, that's okay. You do you. But when you're in the South, you do Southern. And I think you're going to enjoy your life a whole lot more. Oh, this is a big one, barbecue. Now, we take great pride in our barbecue. And there's different types of barbecue. There's the Texas barbecue, there's Carolina barbecue, and that has to do with the sauces that are used. But no barbecue or no Southerner worth their salt is making barbecue in a crock pot. That isn't happening. Barbecue is over a pit. It's just not in a crock pot. That's long cooking meat, but it is not barbecue if it's cooked in a crock pot. That's just simple knowledge. A meat and three. A very Southern restaurant is going to be called a meat and three. That means you get a meat and then you choose 3 different vegetables that you want to go with it. So Monday's meat might be a meatloaf. Tuesday's meat at a meat and three restaurant might be chicken. Thursday's might be, pork chops. So many restaurants are called meat and threes, especially if they're locally owned. And people know exactly, this is Tuesday, this is Friday. They know what the meat is. You choose your vegetables, and that's good Southern eating. Something that many people, when they first move to the South, will find that they've got is allergies. Now, when you have a lot of water, you have a lot of trees, you have a lot of grass, especially if you're coming from an area out west where it's much more arid, we've got pollens. We've got the things that you may never have been allergic to because you've never been exposed to. I haven't grown up in Nashville my entire life. I am highly allergic to a lot of things, including my own hair. But what you're going to find is helpful to you is find local honey from 50 miles within the area that you live. Now, the reason for that is pollens are all different. I'm in Hawaii. I tasted several different types of honey from different islands, and each one tasted a little bit different. It depends on the pollens that those bees are able to pick up and they make that honey from. It truly was amazing how different the taste was. Well, think about it. If I'm allergic to things around where I live, if I eat the honey from the bees that pollinate and make the honey from that location, then my immune system is getting used to it little bit by little bit daily. So if you'll eat a teaspoon a day of a local honey and buy it from a farmer's market, do not buy it from the grocery. I learned this too, just yesterday. Grocery stores can call it local honey, but still put a great percentage of rice water into it to dilute it, to have it, go further and be less expensive. You don't want that. You want undiluted, within 50 miles of where you live. Start taking that in the wintertime, at least a teaspoon a day, however you want to take it, and you're going to find that you are greatly reduced in your allergens that you were highly sensitive to because you're no longer sensitive to it. I would suggest, even if you move to Tennessee in the middle of November and you have no idea whether you're going to be allergic to our pollens, go ahead, make it easy. Get some honey in your tea, have it on toast. Help yourself the following 6 months by starting that process very early. A Southern tradition that if you've never had it, you will have to try when you're here. It's called chess pie. C-H-E-S-S, chess pie. Now you're going to find many people calling it buttermilk pie. Now, 2 things about Southern cooks. One, they rarely ever used a recipe. It was always a pinch of this, a pat of that. And if you're the type of cook who needs to have precise measurements, you might have trouble with some of our best cookbooks. But again, when you're in those antique stores, get the old Southern cookbooks. And you're going to find some of the best biscuits, how to make good biscuits. Oh, you won't believe it. But here's one thing. Many people from other areas of the country call chess pie buttermilk pie. That came about, thank you, that came about, according to folklore, buttermilk pie came about when someone who was the cook, they had unexpected company come for a polite dinner party, and they didn't have any kind of desserts, and the owner of the home asked the cook, please come up with a dessert. She didn't have anything other than a few things, which is a flour, buttermilk, eggs, and so she made that pie. She served it to the guests, and they said, oh my goodness, this is wonderful. She didn't have any major ingredients. Oh my goodness, this is wonderful. What is it? What is it? She said, this is just pie. Just pie, chess pie, just pie, chess pie. Made of very few ingredients. Buttermilk, graham cracker crust, little bit of sugar, eggs. Doesn't take much. Now, you're gonna find different recipes that have been added. Some people like to add a touch of vinegar. There's lots of different recipes for chess pie, buttermilk pie, but it's basically the same thing. Oh, you're gonna find so many great cookbooks. You don't need anything special and fancy. Get some of those small ingredient cookbooks handwritten in with different notes on the recipes. It's gonna be even better. Some of the old Joy of Cooking. You're gonna love to learn how to cook the way Southern cooks do. I've been asked many times, why is it that Nashville roads change names so many times? That's kind of a complicated thing, but it's a fact. Old Hickory Boulevard goes around the entire circumference of the entire Nashville area, which is an 8-county SMSA, but it's named different things at different places. You'll find that many of the roads on Google or on your maps is called Pike, Hillsborough Pike, Franklin Pike. Nobody in Nashville calls it Pike. We call it Hillsborough Road or Franklin Road. We don't call it Pike. That's kind of an old term, but I did look it up for you, is where that terminology came from. Anytime a road in the United States was at some point a toll road, whenever you had to pay a toll to get past different parts of it, that's called a pike. And many of these roads, when we were very rural and very agrarian, you'd go through people's farmlands, and different sections of it you had a toll road, and the farmer was responsible for taking care of that road. That was the toll pike. So many of the roads, although they don't change names, we call them Franklin Road, Hillsborough Road, Dickerson Road. When you look on the map, it's Dickerson Pike. It's one and the same. Also going to find many of them are numbered, like Hillsborough Road is 431. We never call it that, but the maps call it that. I suggest you put Waze on your phone, put Google Maps on your phone, use them both. And also Waze especially is really good at showing you where the traffic patterns are bad. So maybe one way of getting somewhere, maybe to Cool Springs from Brentwood, one way of getting there is good at 3 in the afternoon typically, but that day there may be road construction or something. Got a lot of that going on right now. So my suggestion is be sure you've downloaded Waze and or Google Maps. Use them well. Again, I happen to be in Hawaii. Chickens everywhere here. These are not roosters that you will hear in Nashville. However, I have had people ask me, can I have chickens in Nashville? Some parts you can, some parts you can't. Some neighborhoods you can, some neighborhoods you can't. That's why you need a realtor who knows exactly how to help you find the best place for you if you're moving to the Nashville, Tennessee area. There are restrictions that you gotta know about if you're gonna be happy with your new community. That's where I come in. Let me know how I might help you. If you have questions about Nashville or any other area outside of Nashville, all throughout Tennessee, I've got partners everywhere. We can help you. We can answer your questions. I will see you next week.